My name is Dr. Bryan Ripley Crandall, and I am the director of the Connecticut Writing Project at Fairfield University in Southern Connecticut. I'm also an associate professor in the Graduate School of Education and Allied Professions. I suppose I always knew I was going to be a teacher. I talked a little bit about Mr. Finster a little bit ago, and I remember thinking that one day I wanted to replicate his enthusiasm and passion for writing in the classroom. I moved to Louisville, Kentucky, and I went to the University of Louisville and ended up teaching at a K-12 public school there that was part of the Coalition of Essential Schools. We took one boy and one girl from each of the city's zip codes and had super diversity as our mission. The other thing that was really unique about Kentucky at the time was their Educational Reform Act, where students had to submit writing portfolios to the state in 4th, 7th, and 12th grade. As a result of that, all teachers in Kentucky had to teach writing, whether you were a gym teacher, a health teacher, a science teacher, a math teacher, or an English teacher like I was. And kids had to have pieces of writing that represented a wide variety of genres. I loved that, and so for over 10 years I was in Louisville, Kentucky, promoting writing instruction at my school, which got me involved with the Writing Council of the state, and eventually recruited by the Louisville Writing Project, which is part of the National Writing Project Coalition. There are over 180 sites in the United States and other locations, and I direct one of the 3 sites here in Connecticut. When I was in Louisville, I participated in their Summer Leadership Institute, where I began writing in my own writer's notebook and thinking about publishing the work my students and I were doing. At the same time I was in that writing institute, I was volunteering with the Kentucky Refugee Mission and working with several Sudanese lost boys who were obviously from the Sudan. Louisville at the time relocated over 200 of these young men, and I became really interested in their immigrant story or their refugee story as they were arriving, and I began tutoring them in my spare time. I only mention that because I started writing about them in my writer's notebook and have realized that a lot of the work that I ended up doing for my doctoral studies began with my volunteer work with them. I left Louisville in 2007 and I pursued a doctorate at Syracuse University, where I quickly met John Dow when God grew tired of us and began volunteering once again in the refugee community. I was doing that in my spare time beyond the research I was doing at the university, and then eventually came to the conclusion that I really wanted to make my volunteer work with the refugee community of Syracuse as part of my research. And for a couple of years I was working in a high school where almost 40% of the school were relocated refugees, and I began taking notes and considering how are these kids seeing themselves as writers as they become new Americans. My dissertation was with 8 African-born males from the city of Syracuse who were reading and writing and thinking inside and outside of school, and they helped me to tell their stories and to kind of help me learn the importance of understanding students and their out-of-school communities to have effective practices inside of school. So I'm going to fast forward. In Connecticut, I started thinking about the importance of promoting youth communities, and in 2014, in addition to our National Writing Project site, Summer Institute for Teachers, we created what are called Young Adult Literacy Labs. These are 1- and 2-week writing camps for kids, 3rd grade through 12th grade. Of highest importance to me, however, has been the creation of Ubuntu Academy, which is a 2-week summer institute for immigrant and refugee youth. Ubuntu is a South African philosophy that means I am who I am because of who we are together. And community is very important to how we run that program. In fact, community is important to how all National Writing Project sites are run. You do not have an individual succeeding with their writing unless they belong to a community that embraces the writing that they are doing. And consequently, now in Southern Connecticut, we have teacher institutes, and in the teacher institutes, we work with all the young adult literacy labs, including Ubuntu Academy, and our teachers are able to see some of the best instructors that we have in the state working with these kids, and we are able to learn from the young people about what helps them the most with their own writing practices. There is a writing process, but there's also writing processes, and we're trying to promote writing instruction with all of our educators by working with a wide variety of students. The National Writing Project believes in teachers, and they believe in promoting teacher leadership across the nation. I benefited from that, and so much so that I'm now a director of a site in Connecticut. The National Writing Project has become my family, and I feel like I'm a brother, uncle, son, and even a father to many individuals across the United States as a result. The Ubuntu philosophy, I am because we are, has sort of become the life mission of the Connecticut Writing Project. I'm extremely proud to be a director here in Southern Connecticut.